The most destructive word in a modern man's vocabulary is not a curse. It's not a word of hate. It is a word you've been taught to see as a virtue, a word that feels good to say. That word is yes. You believe it makes you reliable. You think it makes you a team player, a good friend, a good partner. But what if I told you that for 99% of men, this single word is a poison, a slow-acting agent that dissolves your focus, drains your power, and trades your life's mission for a series of trivial errands for others? This is the hidden truth that separates the architect of his own life from the man who merely lives by default. Today, we are not just talking about time management. We are talking about reclaiming your soul. We are applying the ancient, powerful code of the Stoics to cure the modern disease of yes. Before we begin, I have a question. In the comments below, write down one word that describes how you feel at the end of a day filled with obligations to others. Be honest. Let's see how common this disease truly is. Let's be clear about the world we live in. It is a battlefield for your attention. Every app, every notification, every email, every colleague's quick question is a demand, a request for a piece of your life. Society has trained you from a young age that being agreeable is the path to success. The nice guy gets ahead. Don't rock the boat. Be available. Be helpful. This is a carefully constructed lie. It's a system designed to create compliant workers and predictable consumers, not powerful, self-directed men. The result is an epidemic of male burnout, a quiet desperation felt by millions, men who have impressive calendars but empty lives, men who are busy but not productive, men who have said yes to so many other people's priorities that they have forgotten their own. This feeling of being stretched thin, of being constantly reactive instead of proactive, that is the symptom. The disease is the lack of a clear, internal framework for what truly matters. The Stoics understood this 2,000 years ago. They knew that the outer world is chaos. Your only true power lies in your inner judgment, your power to choose, and your most fundamental choice is what you say yes to. 1. We must begin by correctly diagnosing the illness. The disease of yes is not about kindness. It is a symptom of a deeper issue, a lack of defined personal boundaries. Think of your time and energy as a finite resource, like a bank account. Every yes is a withdrawal. A healthy man makes strategic withdrawals for high-return investments. A man infected with this disease hands out his debit card to anyone who asks, wondering why he is always bankrupt. True kindness is intentional. Compulsive agreeableness is a form of self-abandonment. The first step to a cure is to stop confusing the two. This is the foundational understanding that separates the conscious man from the crowd. 2. Let's examine the psychological roots of this compulsion. For many, it stems from a deep-seated fear of conflict. Saying no feels like you're creating friction. It feels confrontational. So you say yes to keep the peace. You sacrifice your own peace for a temporary, fragile social harmony. This is a terrible trade. The Stoic understands that the only peace worth having is internal tranquility, apatheia. This is achieved not by avoiding external conflict, but by being so secure in your own principles that the opinions of others become irrelevant. Your fear of a moment of social discomfort is costing you a lifetime of internal chaos. We need to reverse that. 3. Another root is the addiction to external validation. Every time you say yes and someone thanks you, you get a small hit of approval. It feels good. You feel needed, valued. But this is a trap. You are building your self-worth on the flimsy foundation of other people's opinions and needs. A Stoic builds his self-worth on an internal scorecard, on his character, on his adherence to his own values. He doesn't need a thank you to know his worth. When you untether your self-esteem from the validation of others, the compulsion to say yes loses its power over you. You start operating from a position of internal strength, not external neediness. 4. Let's talk about the true cost. It is far greater than just lost time. Every yes to something trivial is an implicit no to something important. A yes to a pointless meeting is a no to an hour of deep work on your project. A yes to a social event you dread is a no to time with your family, or an evening spent reading and growing. Imagine your life's purpose is a great fire you must tend. Every unnecessary yes is you taking a bucket of water from a nearby river and pouring it on your own fire to put out a tiny spark in someone else's yard. Soon all you have is a pile of wet ash. This is the silent tragedy of the overcommitted man. 5. Society has mastered the art of weaponizing your yes. Think of phrases like, "Can you just do me a quick favour?" or "It'll only take a minute." These are designed to minimize the perceived cost of your commitment, making it harder to refuse. They prey on your desire to be seen as helpful and efficient. The Stoic sees past this. He knows that just a minute is the start of a slippery slope. He evaluates every request not by its stated size, but by its alignment with his purpose. He understands that his focus is his fortress, and he does not allow entry to trivial Trojan horses, no matter how small they appear. He is the guardian at the gate of his own mind. 6. The prevailing myth is that saying yes is how you climb the ladder, that being the go-to person makes you indispensable. This is a misunderstanding of value. The person who says yes to everything is seen as a workhorse, not a thoroughbred. They are reliable for small tasks, but they are never entrusted with the most important missions. Why? Because a man who doesn't value his own time signals to the world that his time is not valuable. The man who is strategic, who guards his focus, who says no to protect his capacity for high-quality work, that is the man who earns true respect. His yes, when it is given, carries immense weight. 7. So, what is the Stoic alternative? It is the concept of the inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius spoke of a fortress within the mind to which you can retreat at any time and be at peace. Your boundaries are the walls of this citadel. Your principles are the guards. Your purpose is the flag flying from the highest tower. The disease of yes is like leaving all the gates of your fortress wide open, allowing any passing army, any wandering merchant, any stray animal to come inside, cause chaos, and eat your provisions. Building your inner citadel means consciously deciding who and what you allow inside. It is an act of profound self-respect. 8. This brings us to the first weapon in the Stoic armoury, the dichotomy of control. As taught by Epictetus, it is the simple yet life-altering practice of separating what is in your control from what is not. Other people's requests are not in your control. Their reactions to your no are not in your control. But your response, your decision to say yes or no, that is 100% within your control. It is one of the few things you truly own. To give it away thoughtlessly is the ultimate form of slavery. Every time you face a request, you're at a sacred junction. You can either exercise your power of choice or you can abdicate it. The Stoic chooses to exercise it every single time. 9. How do we apply this? Before you answer any request, perform a simple mental check. Ask, is my response to this within my control? The answer is always yes. Then ask the more important question. Does saying yes to this serve my ultimate purpose and align with my values? This pause, this moment of conscious evaluation, is your first line of defense. It breaks the conditioned reflex of immediate agreement. It transforms you from a reactor into an actor. You are no longer a puppet pulled by the strings of external demands. You are the one deciding which strings to pull. 10. Think of your power of choice as your most valuable currency. It is more valuable than money, because you can always earn more money, but you can never earn more time. When someone asks for your time, they are asking for a piece of your life that you will never get back. Would you give a stranger $100 just because they asked? Probably not. Yet, you give away hours of your life, worth far more, without a second thought. Start treating your yes with the same respect you treat your money. Invest it wisely. Spend it only on things that provide a meaningful return. This is the mindset of a man who owns himself. 11. The second Stoic weapon is a powerful filter. Memento mori. Remember you will die. This is not a morbid thought. It is the ultimate tool for clarification. When faced with a request, especially a large one, ask yourself this question. If I knew I only had 1 year left to live, would I say yes to this? Or a month? Or a week? This practice incinerates triviality. It cuts through the fog of social obligation and reveals what is truly essential. The things that don't matter fall away with astonishing speed. You realise you don't have time for pointless meetings, for draining social events, for projects that don't ignite your soul. Your mortality is your greatest advisor. 12. Memento. Mori is not about saying no to everything and becoming a recluse. It's about ensuring your yes is aimed at what truly counts. It forces you to define what a well-lived life looks like to you. Maybe it means saying yes to more time with your children. Maybe it's a yes to starting the business you've always dreamed of. Maybe it's a yes to mastering a new skill. By remembering the finite nature of your time, you stop wasting it on things that provide no meaning. Your no to the trivial becomes a powerful life-affirming yes to the essential. It's the ultimate prioritization tool, gifted to us by the Stoics. 13. The third Stoic principle is amor fati, a love of one's fate. This is often misunderstood as passive acceptance. It is the opposite. It is an active, enthusiastic embrace of your life as you have chosen to live it. A man who constantly says yes to external demands is not living his fate. He is living a fate cobbled together by the whims of others. He cannot love it because it is not his. To practice amor fati, you must first create a fate worth loving. This requires making hard choices. It requires saying no to distractions so you can say yes to your chosen path. You love your fate by actively forging it, moment by moment, with each conscious decision. 14. Think of it this way. Every time you say yes against your better judgment, you are telling the universe, my own plans are not important. My own path is secondary. You are actively rejecting your own fate in favour of someone else's. Amor fati demands that you honour your own journey above all else. It is a commitment to look at your life, with all its chosen obligations and projects, and say, this, I choose this, I love this. I will not allow it to be diluted. This mindset makes saying no to misaligned requests not an act of selfishness, but an act of profound loyalty to the life you are building. 15. This leads to an unavoidable prerequisite for the strategic no. You must know what you are saying yes to. A man without a clearly defined purpose is a ship without a rudder, at the mercy of every current and every wind. He says yes to everything because he has no compelling reason to say no. This is the most critical work a man can do. Sit down and define your mission. What is your purpose? What are your non-negotiable priorities in this season of your life? Health, family, career, personal growth. Write them down. This document is your constitution. 16. Once you have your personal constitution, every decision becomes simpler. When a request comes in, you no longer evaluate it based on emotion or obligation. You hold it up against your constitution. Does this align? Does it move me closer to my goals or further away? Is it a hell yes or is it a no? If it's not a hell yes, it is a no. This clarity is a superpower. It eliminates decision fatigue. It gives your no a foundation of reason, not a whim of emotion. It's not personal, it's constitutional. You are simply adhering to the law of your own life. 17. A man's purpose can be visualized as a great northern star. It is the fixed point by which he navigates. Without it, he is lost in the wilderness, mistaking the flicker of every distant campfire for his destination. He says yes to every path, hoping one will lead him home. But instead, he just wanders in circles. When your purpose is clear, You can see which paths lead toward the star and which lead away. The paths leading away are easy to say no to. You are not rejecting the person asking. You are simply staying true to your own journey. Your direction is non-negotiable. 18. Let's be clear. Your purpose doesn't have to be some grand, world-changing mission. It can be simple. To be an excellent father. To build a financially stable future for my family. To master my craft. The scale is irrelevant. The clarity is everything. The man whose purpose is to be a present father can easily say no to late nights at the office. The man whose purpose is to build his business can easily say no to a weekend trip that drains his resources. A clear purpose is the ultimate justification for a strategic no. 19. Debunking a myth. Having a purpose doesn't make you rigid and inflexible. This is where the Stoics introduce the reserve clause. They would preface their plans with si fata sinant, if fate permits. This is not a lack of commitment, it is an acknowledgement of reality. You commit fully to your actions, but you accept that the outcome is not entirely in your control. This principle can be adapted to modern commitments. It is the art of the provisional yes. You agree to a task, but with a clear understanding of the conditions under which you operate. 20. For example, instead of a simple yes to a project, your yes can be more intelligent. Yes, I can take on that project provided I can deprioritize these other two tasks. Which would you prefer I focus on? This isn't a no, it's a yes and. It demonstrates your commitment while also realistically acknowledging the constraints of time and energy. It forces the person asking to consider the true cost of their request. This is the Stoic way. Commit wholeheartedly to your part, but do not chain yourself to outcomes or circumstances you cannot control. It is a commitment with wisdom. 21. A core battleground in this fight is the inner versus the outer scorecard. The outer scorecard is your reputation, your job title, how many people like you. The man addicted to yes is obsessed with his outer scorecard. He needs constant external validation to feel good about himself. The Stoic focuses exclusively on the inner scorecard. Am I living according to my values? Did I act with integrity? Did I use my time wisely today? This is the only judgment that matters. When you live by the inner scorecard, the need to please everyone evaporates. You're playing a different game with different rules. 22. This is a profound shift in mindset. You must become your own judge. At the end of each day, the Stoics practiced a nightly review, not to berate themselves, but to analyze their actions. Where did I act in accordance with my principles? Where did I falter? Where did I say yes out of fear or weakness? This practice builds a powerful muscle of self-awareness. You become accountable to yourself, which is the highest form of accountability. The opinions of the crowd become background noise. The quiet approval of your own conscience becomes the only sound you need to hear. 23. Another powerful Stoic visualization technique is the view from above. Marcus Aurelius would often practice imagining himself looking down upon the entire world from high above. He would see all the cities, all the people scurrying about, all their little dramas and conflicts. From this vantage point, everything is put into perspective. That urgent request from a colleague, that can't-miss social event. From the view from above, they are revealed for what they are, specks of dust in the grand scheme of things. This practice shrinks the emotional weight of external demands. It makes it easier to say no to things that simply do not matter. 24. When you feel pressured to say yes, try this. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself floating up, above your building, above your city, until the entire earth is a small blue marble below. Now, from that cosmic perspective, re-evaluate the request. Does it still feel life or death? Does the fear of disappointing someone still seem so powerful? Almost always the answer is no. This mental exercise costs you nothing and takes only a minute, but it can provide you with the immense clarity and emotional detachment needed to make a rational, principle-based decision rather than an emotional, fear-based one. 25. We have covered the principles. Now let's move into practical real-world tactics. The first and most important tactic is the power of the pause. Your reflex yes is an addiction. To break it, you must insert a space between the request and your response. Never give an answer immediately, especially for significant commitments. Your default response should become, "Thank you for thinking of me. Let me check my schedule and my priorities, and I will get back to you by the end of the day." This is a sentence of power. It gives you back control. 26. What does the pause do? First, it signals to the other person that you take your commitment seriously. You are not a vending machine of yes. You are a thoughtful, deliberate man. Second, it gives you time to actually perform the analysis we've discussed, to consult your constitution, to weigh the true cost. Third, it allows the initial emotional pressure of the request to dissipate. In the calm of your own space, you can make a logical decision, not a reactive one. The pause is your shield against the tyranny of the urgent. 27. The second tactic is the no but push technique. This is for situations where you genuinely want to help but cannot agree to the specific request. A simple no can sometimes feel harsh. The no but bish softens the blow while protecting your boundaries. "No, I can't help you with that project this week, but I can share a template that might help you get started." Or, "No, I can't commit to a 1-hour meeting, but I can answer specific questions over email." You are declining the original request, but offering a smaller, alternative form of assistance that aligns with your own capacity and schedule. 28. This technique is brilliant because it demonstrates goodwill without sacrificing your priorities. You are not saying, "Your problem is not my problem." You are saying, "I respect my own limits, and within those limits, here is how I can offer some value." It reframes you from being unhelpful to being strategically helpful. It respects the other person while teaching them how to best interact with you in the future. It is a masterful tool for maintaining relationships while enforcing boundaries, a key tenet of practical Stoicism in the modern world. 29. The third tactic is the honest no. Sometimes there is no but. The answer is simply no. In these cases, the strongest move is to be direct, calm, and unapologetic. The mistake most people make is over-explaining. They give a long list of excuses, which only invites negotiation. "Oh, if you're busy on Tuesday, how about Wednesday?" A powerful, honest no is brief. "Thank you for the offer, but I'm going to have to decline." Or, "I appreciate you asking, but I can't commit to that right now." End of sentence. No long apology, no justification. Just a clear, respectful refusal. 30. This takes courage. Your fear brain will tell you to soften it, to make excuses. You must resist this urge. A clean no is an act of respect. It respects the other person enough to give them a clear answer so they can move on, and it respects you enough to honour your own decision. Remember, no is a complete sentence. It does not require a follow-up clause. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. You will find that people, the right people, will respect your directness far more than a weak excuse-laden refusal. 31. A more advanced tactic is the policy no. This is particularly useful for recurring requests that you always want to decline. By framing your no as a matter of personal policy, you depersonalize the rejection. It's not about them, it's about a rule you have set for yourself. For example, if you are frequently asked for career advice calls, thank you for reaching out. As a personal policy, I'm focusing all my energy on my core projects right now, and I'm not taking on advisory calls. This is almost impossible to argue with. It's not a rejection of the person. It's an application of your own system. 32. You can develop policies for many areas of your life. I have a policy of not checking email after 6 p.m. to be present with my family. I have a policy of not lending money to friends to preserve the relationship. I have a policy of only attending meetings that have a clear agenda sent in advance. These are not just excuses. They are the operational rules of your inner citadel. They are pre-made decisions that protect you from having to spend willpower on the same choices over and over again. This is how you automate your discipline. 33. Now for a difficult scenario, saying no to your boss. This is where most men falter, fearing for their job, but the Stoic approach is not about insubordination. It's about managing expectations and ensuring quality. You never say, "No, I won't do that." Instead, you reframe it in terms of priorities and outcomes, which is the language of leaders. You say, "I can absolutely do that. To do it with the excellence it deserves, I'll need to deprioritize task A and task B. Do you agree that this new task is the top priority?" 34. This is a masterstroke. You are not refusing. You are demonstrating your commitment to quality. You are making the hidden cost of the new request visible. You are transforming a simple yes or no into a strategic conversation about resource allocation. A good boss will respect this immensely. They will see you not as a compliant drone, but as a manager of your own workload who is invested in the company's success. You are helping them make better decisions. You move from being a subordinate to being a strategic partner. This is how a strategic no can actually get you promoted. 35. Perhaps the most emotionally difficult scenario is saying no to friends and family. The guilt can be immense. Here you must remember the metaphor of the leaking bucket. If your own bucket of energy, time, and mental health is full of holes, you have nothing left to give anyone. Saying no to a request that would drain you is not selfish. It is the necessary act of patching your own bucket so that you will have something to give in the future when it truly matters. You cannot pour from an empty cup. A strategic no to family is a long-term yes to your ability to be there for them. 36. The language you use here is key. It should be firm but loving. I love that you thought of me for this, but I don't have the capacity to take that on right now. Or, I need to decline this time to focus on my own well-being, so I can be at my best for you in the long run. You are affirming the relationship while protecting your boundaries. The people who truly care about you will understand. The ones who don't, well, that's important information for you to have, isn't it? It's a filter for the quality of your relationships. 37. All of this can seem intimidating. So, you must train. The no is a muscle. It gets stronger with use. Start small. Say no to low-stakes things. When a store clerk asks if you want to sign up for a credit card, give a firm, simple no, thank you. When a website asks for notifications, click no. Say no to the extra slice of cake. Each small refusal builds your confidence. It normalizes the act of setting a boundary. You are getting in your reps so that when the big, high-stakes requests come, the muscle is strong and ready. 38. Think of it as a form of exposure therapy for the fear of disapproval. Each time you say no and the world doesn't end, your brain rewires itself. It learns that setting boundaries is not catastrophic. It learns that you are still a good person. You are simply a person with agency, a person in command of himself. Practice in the small moments so you can perform in the big ones. This is the path of gradual, sustainable self-mastery. 39. Now we enter the final phase, the aftermath. What happens when you start implementing this Stoic code? The first thing you will encounter is pushback. People are used to the old you, the reliable, always available you. When you start setting boundaries, they will test them. They will try to guilt you. They will act surprised or offended. This is the critical moment. This is the test of your resolve. You must hold the line. Do not argue. Do not justify. Simply restate your boundary calmly. As I said, I'm not able to commit to that. Their reaction is outside your control. Your commitment to your principles is within it. 40. This initial friction is a good sign. It means you are changing the rules of engagement. You are teaching people how to treat you. After the initial testing phase, something remarkable will happen. The people who were only in your life for what they could get from you will fade away. This is a gift. The people who remain, the ones who respect your new boundaries, will respect you more deeply than ever before. They will see you as a man of substance, a man who values himself. Your relationships will become fewer, but their quality will be infinitely higher. 41. You will begin to notice a surprising benefit. The respect you gain. People are subconsciously drawn to strength and clarity. A man who knows his own priorities and protects them is a rare and admirable thing in this chaotic world. While they may be initially frustrated by your no, it plants a seed of respect. They see that your time is a fortress, and when you do grant them entry, when you give them a genuine yes, they will value it far more. Your yes becomes a scarce and valuable resource, and they will treat it as such. Paradoxically, saying no more often makes your yes more powerful. 42. Imagine a leader who agrees with every idea presented to him. Is he a strong leader? No, he is a rudderless one. Now imagine a leader who listens thoughtfully and then says, "No, we are not doing that. We are doing this for these reasons." The second leader commands respect. His yes has weight because it is backed by 1,000 no's. By adopting this philosophy, you become the leader of your own life. You are the one setting the direction, and others will respect the clarity of your command. 43. The most profound change will be internal. You will experience the freedom of an uncluttered mind and an uncluttered calendar. The constant low-grade anxiety of being overcommitted will begin to dissolve. In its place, you will find space. Space to think. Space to be creative. Space to plan. Space to simply be present. You will be amazed at how much mental energy was being consumed by obligations you didn't even want. Reclaiming that energy is like coming out of a dense fog into a clear sunlit day. This is the peace the Stoics called apatheia, not a lack of feeling, but a state of undisturbed tranquility. 44. This newfound mental space is not for idleness. It is for purpose. It is the fertile ground where your best work, your best ideas, and your best self can grow. The man who is constantly reacting to the demands of others has no time for deep work. He skims the surface of life. The man who has curated his commitments can go deep. He can build things that last. He can master his craft. He can become the man he was meant to be. This freedom is the grand prize for curing the disease of yes. It is the key to unlocking your true potential. 45. So, what do you say yes to now? This is the beautiful part of the equation. Once you have cleared away the clutter, your yes becomes a sacred and powerful tool. It is no longer a weak reflex, but a deliberate, intentional act of creation. You say yes only to the things that align with your deepest values. A yes to family time. A yes to a project that sets your soul on fire. A yes to helping someone in a way that is meaningful and effective. Each yes is now a conscious choice to build the life you want. 46. Your yes now carries the full weight of your conviction. Because it is rare, it is potent. When you commit to something, you are fully there. You are not distracted or resentful because you chose to be there. This is how you produce your best work and cultivate the best relationships. People will feel the difference between a resentful, obligatory yes and a wholehearted chosen yes. The latter is a force of nature. It builds trust, it creates value, and it inspires others. This is the positive power you unlock when you master the negative. 47. The ultimate goal of this entire process is to move from a life of default to a life of design. Most people are living a life that was handed to them. Their commitments, their schedules, their priorities, they are the result of 1,000 small, unconscious yeses. They are living by default. The Stoic path is the path of the architect. You are given the raw materials of time and energy, and you must consciously design your life, brick by brick. Every no is the act of clearing the ground. Every yes is the act of laying a perfectly chosen brick in the foundation of your legacy. 48. This is the true meaning of Stoic freedom. It is not freedom from hardship or from responsibility. It is the internal freedom to choose your response, to choose your commitments, to live in accordance with your own rational, guiding principles, regardless of the pressures of the outside world. It is the freedom that comes from being the master of your own mind, the captain of your own soul. This freedom is not given, it is earned. It is earned with every conscious no and every intentional yes. 49. Let us reconsider the nice guy syndrome. The man who cannot say no is not truly nice. He is often resentful, passive-aggressive, and unreliable because he has overcommitted himself and cannot deliver. The truly good man, the Stoic man, is a man of his word. When he says yes, it is a bond of steel because he does not give it lightly. His integrity is his highest value. He is more reliable, more trustworthy, and ultimately more helpful than the man who agrees to everything and accomplishes nothing of substance. True kindness requires strength. It requires boundaries. 50. A man with strong boundaries is like a great tree with deep roots. He is stable, he provides shade and shelter. He cannot be easily pushed over by the winds of social pressure. A man with no boundaries is like a tumbleweed, blown about by every whim and request. He offers no stability to himself or to others. The work of building these boundaries, of learning to say no, is not selfish. It is the most fundamental act of service you can perform for yourself and for the people who truly depend on you to be strong. 51. Let's revisit the fear of conflict. The Stoic does not seek conflict, but he does not fear it. He understands that friction is often a necessary component of growth and clarity. A polite no is not an act of aggression. If someone reacts aggressively to your reasonable boundary, you have not created a conflict. You have revealed one that was already there. You have revealed that their respect for you was conditional on your compliance. This is valuable information. It is a gift. It allows you to see your relationships for what they truly are. 52. The fear of missing out, or FOMO, is another major driver of the yes disease. You say yes to every social event, every opportunity, because you are afraid you might miss the one. The Stoic understands that true value comes from depth, not breadth. He practices JOMO, the joy of missing out. He finds joy in missing out on trivial distractions because he knows it allows him to be fully present for the things he has intentionally chosen. He is not afraid of what he is missing because he is so deeply engaged with what he has. This is the peace that comes from a curated life. 53. Consider the lion. Does a lion apologize for its nature? Does it ask for permission to hunt, to sleep, to roar? No, it acts in accordance with its nature. Your nature as a rational, self-directed man is to pursue your purpose. Saying no to things that distract from that purpose is not an apology-worthy offence. It is you acting in accordance with your nature. Drop the guilt. The guilt is a societal program installed in you to make you more compliant. Uninstall it. Replace it with the quiet confidence of a man who knows his own path and walks it without apology. 54. The energy you will reclaim is staggering. Think of all the mental bandwidth currently occupied by dreading upcoming events you agreed to, feeling resentful about tasks you're doing for others, and worrying about how to get out of commitments. When you cure the yes disease, all of that energy comes flooding back to you. It is a massive surplus that you can now invest in your own projects, your own health, your own peace of mind. You are plugging a massive leak in your personal power grid. The effect on your life will be immediate and profound. 55. This is not a one-time fix. It is a lifelong practice. You will have days where you slip up, where an old habit kicks in and you say yes too quickly. Do not despair. The Stoic path is one of progress, not perfection. When you fall, you simply notice it. Analyze why it happened without judgment and resolve to do better next time. Each mistake is data. It teaches you about your weaknesses, your triggers. It is an opportunity to strengthen your resolve. The goal is not to be a perfect Stoic, but to be a practicing one. 56. What is the opposite of the man with the yes disease? It is the man of equanimity. He is calm, centered, and master of his own domain. He is not swayed by praise or criticism. He is not rushed or panicked. He moves through the world with a quiet confidence that comes from knowing his own mind and living by his own code. He is a source of strength and stability for others, precisely because he has first secured his own. This is not a fantasy. This is the attainable result of consistently applying these principles. This is the man you are capable of becoming. 57. You must guard your mind as you would guard a fortress. Seneca wrote that we should be careful about the books we read and the company we keep, as they influence our thoughts. This applies directly to the commitments we make. Every yes is an invitation for something to enter your mind and occupy your thoughts. Be a ruthless curator. Be an elite guardian at the gate. If a request does not elevate you, if it does not align with your purpose, if it does not bring you closer to virtue, deny it entry. Your mental real estate is the most valuable property you own. 58. The world will not stop asking. The demands will never cease. The chaos will always be at the gates. This is why this is not a tactic but a philosophy. You are not just learning to say a word. You are learning to embody a new way of being, one rooted in self-knowledge, self-respect, and an unshakable commitment to living a life of purpose. You are building an internal operating system that can handle any input the world throws at you and produce a response that serves your highest good. This is the work, and it is the most important work you will ever do. 59. Reread Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. You will see it with new eyes. It is the diary of a man, the most powerful man in the world, constantly reminding himself to say no to distraction, no to fear, no to anger, and no to the opinions of others. He was constantly practicing this philosophy to guard his own tranquility and focus while ruling an empire. If he needed these tools to manage his life, so do you. The challenges are the same. Only the scale has changed. The principles are timeless because the human condition is timeless. 60. So we arrive at the final understanding. The cure for the disease of yes is not to become a man of no. It is to become a man of intentionality. It is to understand that both yes and no are tools, and a master craftsman uses the right tool for the right job. You are the craftsman. Your life is your masterpiece. Do not let others hold the chisel. Do not let them mar the stone. Take command of your tools. Take command of your work. Build a life so aligned with your own true north that every choice becomes clear. This is the way of the Stoic. This is the path to power. We have travelled a great distance today. We have diagnosed the disease, we have studied the Stoic's armoury, and we have learned the practical tactics to fight back. If you take only one thing from this hour, let it be this. Your no is what gives your yes its power. A life filled with thoughtless, resentful yeses is a weak and scattered life. A life built upon a foundation of strong, intentional no's is a life of focus, power, and integrity. The world does not need another man who agrees to everything. It needs men who have the strength and clarity to say yes only to what truly matters. It needs men like you who are willing to do the hard work of building their own inner citadel. This is your life. No one else is coming to live it for you. Reclaim it, starting today. Thank you for dedicating your most valuable asset, your time, to this discussion. If this resonated with you, subscribe and join our community of men committed to strength and self-mastery. Now I leave you with a final critical question for the comments. What is the first no you will deliver to reclaim your life?